In 2004, NASA scientists published a research paper. It was not about space. It was not about rockets. It was about farming. A 3,000-year-old farming method. Built by ancient people with no electricity, no chemicals, no modern tools. And this old method grew more food per square foot than anything NASA's own engineers had ever designed. The research was real. The results were confirmed. And then, silence. No follow-up. No news. No government program adopted it. No university taught it. It just quietly disappeared. In this video, I will tell you exactly what this method is, why NASA studied it, what they found, and why the results were never used. After watching this, you will never look at farming, food, or your garden the same way again. But this story does not start at NASA. It starts 3,000 years ago in one of the harshest places on Earth. 3,000 years ago, the Inca Empire had a big problem. They needed to feed millions of people. But they lived in the mountains of Peru. It's almost no flat land, freezing cold at night, burning hot during the day. Thin, poor soil. Water sources miles away. By any modern calculation, farming there should have been impossible. But the Inca did not just farm there. They built one of the greatest food systems in all of human history. They called it Waru-Waru. Here is how it worked. They cut flat steps into the mountain slopes. We call these terraces today. Between these steps, they dug long channels and filled them with water. Simple, right? But what those water channels did was incredible. First, the water stored heat from the sun during the day. At night, when temperatures dropped below freezing, the water slowly released that heat. It kept the air around the crops 2 to 3 degrees warmer, just enough to stop frost from killing the plants. Second, plants and algae grew inside the water channels. When farmers pulled this green material out and spread it on the fields, it worked as a natural fertilizer. The water was growing its own plant food. Third, and this is what stopped NASA researchers cold, the channels kept the soil at a perfect moisture level. Never to dry, never to wet, just right. All the time. Automatically. No modern irrigation system, no drip lines. No computerized moisture sensors. Nothing does this as well as those 3,000-year-old stone channels did. Then the Spanish arrived in the 1500s. They destroyed the Inca Empire. They tore apart the farming system. The terraces crumbled. The channels filled with dirt. The knowledge died within one generation. Land that had fed millions of people for centuries became empty and barren. It stayed that way for 400 years, until one man decided to find out, could this ancient system be brought back? In 1984, an archaeologist named Clark Erickson from the University of Pennsylvania started a project. Most of his colleagues thought it was a waste of time. His plan: rebuild the ancient Inca farming system and test if it actually worked. Local Quechua farmers helped him. Their ancestors had used this system before the Spanish came. They did not have written instructions, but they had stories, old family memories of a method that had not been used in 400 years. Together, they rebuilt the first sections of Waru-Waru using simple hand tools. Then they planted crops and waited. The results were not small. Normal farming in that region produced 1 to 4 tons of potatoes per hectare. The ancient restored system produced 8 to 14 tons per hectare, 4 times more food, with no chemical fertilizers, no irrigation machines, no modern inputs at all. Then, in 1988, a terrible frost hit Peru, one of the worst in decades. Regular farms were wiped out. Farmers lost everything. But the farms using the rebuilt ancient channels, almost zero crop loss. The water channels had done exactly what they were designed to do: protect the crops from cold. The research was published. Scientists around the world read it. Development organizations that help poor farmers saw it. And nothing happened. No programs were launched. No governments adopted it. No international agencies promoted it. The system worked too well, and cost too little. There was no money to be made from it, no products to sell, no technology to license. So it was quietly ignored. The ancient method had been buried by the Spanish in 1500. Now it was being buried again, this time by silence. That should have been the end of the story. But then, someone at NASA found the research. In the late 1990s, NASA had a problem that would have sounded very familiar to the ancient Inca. They needed to grow food in a place with no flat land, extreme temperatures, almost no water, and a thin atmosphere. They were planning how to feed humans on Mars. Mars is brutal. Temperature goes from minus 80 degrees Celsius at night to plus 20 during the day. The atmosphere is 95% carbon dioxide. Liquid water is almost impossible to find. And every single kilogram of water shipped from Earth costs around $10,000. You cannot waste anything. You cannot afford inefficiency. NASA's team reviewed every high-efficiency farming method ever documented in human history. The Waru-Waru research from Peru landed on their desks. The connection was immediate. The Inca had solved the exact same problem, farming in an extreme environment with very little water and huge temperature swings. Their water channel system managed temperature without any energy. Their moisture system eliminated water waste. Our natural fertilizer cycle reduced the need for external inputs. In 2002, NASA began formal testing of Waru-Waru principles at the Kennedy Space Center. A team of soil scientists, plant biologists, and water specialists built test beds based on the ancient design. They measured everything carefully: soil temperature, moisture levels, plant growth, water use, crop yield. The results came out between 2002 and 2006. The ancient system worked. Water use was 60 to 80% lower than drip irrigation. Temperature regulation worked without any electricity or heating systems. Natural fertilization reduced the need for synthetic nutrients by 40%. Crop yields were consistently higher than in modern test beds. NASA had studied a 3,000-year-old farming method, confirmed it worked better than anything modern science had built. And then the program ended. Not because the results were bad, not because the system was too difficult. The research program was restructured. Funding moved elsewhere. The papers stayed in academic databases where almost nobody would find them. The 3,000-year-old farming secret had survived all the way to NASA, passed every test, and then quietly disappeared again. Now, I want to be honest with you here. This was not a secret meeting in a dark room. No one made a phone call and said, "Bury this research." What happened is simpler than a conspiracy. And in some ways, more disturbing. It is about money. And who controls what gets taught? Let me give you some numbers. The global fertilizer industry is worth $200 billion per year. The pesticide industry is worth $84 billion per year. The farming machinery industry is worth $170 billion per year. The irrigation equipment industry is worth $12 billion per year. These industries do not just sell products, they fund university research. They pay for agricultural training programs. They hire lobbyists who write the farming policies your government uses. They sponsor the magazines and TV programs that teach farmers what to do. Now think about what Waru farming requires. No synthetic fertilizer. The water channels grow natural fertilizer. No irrigation machines. The channels manage moisture automatically. No pesticides. Healthy soil biology means fewer pests. No annual inputs of any kind. The system maintains itself for centuries. A farming method that requires none of these products is not just a problem for one of these industries. It is a problem for all of them at the same time. And there is no patent on a stone terrace and a water channel. You cannot charge people a yearly fee for an ancient design. You cannot build a billion-dollar company on something people build once and use forever. So the money goes to other research. The teaching programs focus on other methods. The government agricultural offices promote other solutions. Nobody banned Waru-Waru farming. Nobody had to. They just never talked about it. And because the media follows the money, and the money was not in ancient farming systems, you never heard about it either. This is how useful knowledge dies, not with a gunshot, with silence. Now, I am not going to tell you to go move mountains, but the NASA research made something very clear, and the Inca data confirmed it. There are 4 basic principles behind the Waru-Waru system, and every one of them can be applied in your backyard starting this weekend. Principle 1. Water deep, not on top every time you water your plants from above. You are teaching them to be weak. Surface water evaporates fast. It makes roots grow near the surface where the moisture is. Those shallow roots die in heat. They collapse in drought. They depend on you watering them every single day. The Inca channels delivered water at root level underground. Underground water does not evaporate. It pulls roots downward. Deep roots reach nutrients that shallow roots never find. Deep-rooted plants survive without you. You do not need stone channels to do this. A simple buried clay pot, a deep layer of mulch, or even a DIY wicking system will do the same job. Deliver water underground. Let the roots chase it down. Principle 2. Use water to control temperature. This is the principle that saved Inca crops from frost. It is the same principle NASA identified as critical for Mars farming. Water stores heat. A container filled with water absorbs sunlight during the day and slowly releases that warmth at night. Studies have shown that dark water containers placed near cold-sensitive plants can raise the local temperature by 2 to 4 degrees Fahrenheit overnight. In frost-prone areas, that is the difference between a living plant and a dead one. You do not need a water channel. It's a few dark plastic jugs or barrels filled with water placed around your garden beds can protect your plants from frost for free with zero electricity. Principle 3. Feed your soil. Not your plant's modern fertilizer is sold as plant food. Pour it in. Plants grow faster. Simple. But here's what the fertilizer companies do not tell you. Plants do not actually absorb most synthetic fertilizer. Studies show that up to 50% of synthetic nitrogen washes away before plants can use it. It pollutes waterways, and repeated use of synthetic fertilizer kills the microbial life in soil, the bacteria and fungi that make nutrients available to roots in the first place. The Inca water channels worked differently. They grew living biology, algae, aquatic plants, microorganisms. When this material was spread on the fields, it fed the soil biology. The soil biology fed the plants. Healthy soil feeds itself. Chemical fertilizer creates dependency. You can start building healthy soil right now. Stop tilling. Tilling kills soil structure. Add compost. Use wood chip mulch. Make compost tea and pour it on your beds. Stop using synthetic chemicals that sterilize your soil. Give your soil 6 months of this treatment and it will grow food that tastes completely different from what you buy at the store. Principle 4. Stop letting water run away. If your garden has any slope at all, you are losing water. Rainwater runs downhill. Irrigation water runs downhill. The nutrients dissolved in that water run downhill too. The entire Inca terrace system existed to solve this one problem. Stop the water from running away. Hold it in place. Let it sink into the soil where the roots are. You do not need massive terraces. Even simple raised beds that sit level on a gentle slope will hold significantly more water than a sloped garden. A small berm of soil at the downhill edge of your garden bed can double how much rainwater your soil absorbs. This is not a new idea. Every successful ancient farming civilization independently discovered the same thing. Flat beats slope, every time. I want you to think about something for a moment. The farming methods with the highest yields in pre-industrial history, confirmed by real science, tested by NASA, proven to work, are not taught in agricultural schools. Not promoted by government farming programs. Not in gardening magazines. Not featured in garden centers. Not in seed catalogs. Instead, you are sold fertilizer that needs to be repurchased every single season. irrigation systems designed to break and need replacement every few years, pesticides for the insect problems that appear when soil biology dies, then more fertilizer to replace the nutrients the pesticides destroyed. It is a perfect loop, a system of dependency that generates hundreds of billions of dollars every year. And here's the result of that system. The USDA, the United States Department of Agriculture, has its own data showing that the nutritional content of American vegetables has dropped by 5 to 40% since 1950. We are growing more food today than at any point in history, and that food contains less nutrition than it did 70 years ago. Because the industrial system did not optimize for nutrition, it optimized for yield and profit. NASA found the best answer to growing food in the most extreme environment imaginable. And that answer was 3,000 years old. The fact that you are learning about it from a YouTube video and not from your school, your government, or your grocery store tells you exactly who controls what you are allowed to know about feeding yourself. You cannot rebuild an Inca mountain farm, but you can start applying the principles today. This weekend, buy 2 or 3 unglazed clay pots from your garden center. The plain terracotta ones. Dig a hole in your garden bed. Bury the pot up to its rim. Fill it with water. Cover the top with a flat stone to stop evaporation. Done, your garden now has subsurface irrigation that will cut your water use in half. This week, stop watering from above. Water at the base of plants or use the buried pot method. Within 2 weeks, you will see the difference. Leaves stay dry. Fungal diseases drop. Roots go deeper. This month, fill 3 or 4 dark plastic containers with water. Place them around your most cold-sensitive plants. On the next frosty night, check those plants in the morning. They will be alive when your neighbor's unprotected plants are dead. This season, stop tilling your garden beds. Add a 3-inch layer of wood chip mulch on top of your soil. Pour compost tea on your beds once a week. By the end of the season, your soil will be darker, softer, and full of earthworms. That is what healthy soil looks like, and healthy soil grows healthy food. None of this costs much. None of this requires buying new products every year. None of this makes any company rich. That is exactly why you have never been taught any of it. NASA studied this. Scientists confirmed it. Ancient civilizations proved it for 3,000 years, and it was buried, quietly. With silence, the silence ends when enough people know. This video opened your eyes. Hit subscribe, because every week we dig up another piece of knowledge that should never have been forgotten. There are more of these stories. Suppressed crops, forgotten growing methods, ancient food systems that fed millions and were quietly erased. We are going to find every single one of them. Hit the bell so you don't miss the next one. Share this with one person who grows their own food, and tell me in the comments what part of this story surprised you the most. The ground holds more secrets than the sky ever will. See you in the next one.